Good morning and welcome to my channel. My name is Shoshana and I am a guide to life. I help people through life-changing transitions to better understand their emotions and what they're going through. And I want to talk a little bit about decision making because decision making is one of the most um, important things in life. We make thousands of decisions daily without even noticing what we are doing. And a lot of times in the bigger things, we find difficulty in making the decisions. And the decision points in our life are the points that determine the quality of our life. They are the power in our life. When we make a decision to go in one certain direction, that is what is moving our life forward in that direction. Even in the small things, we have to make decisions and we have to be capable of making decisions and standing behind them and fulfilling them and pushing through them. It doesn't mean that we don't remain um, flexible. We must also remain flexible, but we do have to have the capacity and the capability of making decisions. A lot of times, many people find difficulty in making decisions and they allow others to make decisions for them in that case, which is actually taking the power of your life and giving it to someone else. But you're not only giving them the power of your life, you are entrusting them with your life, because if they are making the decisions for you, your life is going down the path that they choose for you. And this is also many times a place where people that have tendencies to be victims come in with blame. Oh, you made that decision. I didn't feel I was strong enough to make the decision, or I didn't want to have to make the decision, because it comes from a place of weakness. Because if you make the decision, you also have to take the responsibility for the decision. And so you put the decision making off onto your spouse, to somebody else in your life, and or you are constantly asking for advice so others can before you make decisions. I'm not saying it's a good thing to get perspective before you make a really serious decision, of course, but ultimately it's being capable and able to make that decision yourself, because you are going to be the one that is paying the price, or the one that is living the life that you decide. Whether you're giving somebody else the power in your life to make the decision for you, it's still your choice to give them the power, and you are still the one that is living out whatever decisions were made. And a lot of times, continuing on, when you're giving your power away, so not only are you giving away the your capability, because the more you cop off your decision making onto someone else, the less you feel capable of making decisions. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the more strength you gain in it. And if you are used to not making the decisions, then you don't trust yourself to make the decisions any longer. But it's also a weakness, kind of people that have tendencies to be victims in their own life, right? That don't take responsibility for their own life. They cop off their decision making onto another. You decide, you get to make that decision, and when somebody else makes the decision, you also throw your responsibility onto them. So then many times when it doesn't happen like you want, then you have someone to blame and you don't have to blame yourself. So it's a weakness. It's a place of not standing up, not taking responsibility. But not only do you lose the power in your life, you also lose responsibility for your own life. So it's almost like you're living beside life and not truly living out your aspirations. And so the reason I'm making this video is because I built a workshop once around decision making, and I've been going through this pile of paperwork that I have in the corner that I've been procrastinating around, that has it's like weighing on me. It's all sorts of things that I've written, all sorts of things that I channeled before I even knew that I was channeling, and it's been sitting in a massive pile in the corner. So I start going through it, and I found this workshop that I had built and did about decision making, and I thought I would go ahead and share it with you, make a video about it, because it's so important. It's such an important part of life to be able to have the capacity to make decisions. And in any case, you're making decisions all the time in your life. And decision making not wanting to make decisions is also very connected to FOMO, fear of missing out. So if I decide to go down this one path, then I'm always afraid that, wait a minute, what if I would have done the other option? So you're never truly satisfied in the route that you're going down, and you never truly give it all the power to become. Because if you are at a crossroads, right? Because every time that you make a decision and you choose one thing, you're choosing one thing out of infinite possibilities. But let's say you come to a road, right? And you have these two big choices and you're having a difficult time choosing between them because they either have different attributes or they are going to take you to different areas, it's going to open up your life in different ways, right? The big decisions, buying a house, choosing a job, choosing a career, choosing a spouse, all of these things that have massive impact. Even where you're going to go to vacation, right? If you go to Thailand for vacation and you go see the pyramids, it's completely different life experiences that you're going to be giving yourself. But all the decisions, we make thousands of decisions, minute decisions a day without even thinking. And the decisions are the power of our life. And the decisions that we make are what determine the quality of our life. So decision making, being able and capable of making a decision is so important. So if you get to a crossroads and you have these two decisions, you can either go this route or you can go this route, right? And you choose one route, but you're always thinking, but what if I chose wrong? Not only are you not giving your full power to this, you're not dedicating yourself to this decision, because if you are thinking, well, second guessing yourself, well, did I make the right decision? Am I going, maybe I should have taken that other route. It means that you're going straight forward on this route, but you're looking backwards and behind a corner that you can't see anyway. You cannot see. Once you make a decision, you start moving towards that. Whatever this was just is lost potential, because no matter what, you cannot go back to that same point and begin from that same point. Even if you go backwards and go up that other route, it'll never be as it was at that crossroads. It will never be. And so, because in every moment, your life is constantly playing out. So every moment is dependent on the moment before it. So even if you go down seemingly the same route, it is always going to be a little bit different. It will always be just the people that you meet, the situations, it's always going to be a little bit different. So there really is, when you look at FOMO, fear of missing out, what isn't, it doesn't exist right now in your reality, right? There's so many different ways of looking at things. You could always say that all the realities coexist all at the same time, which is also true, right? It's paradoxical, but if you are at for the purpose of making this a video and the higher good, coming to a place where you are capable and able to make decisions, and strong decisions, right? It doesn't mean that you still stay flexible, right? If you start going down a path that really looked like it was going to be the path for you, and along the way you realize that, wait a minute, this just really isn't the path for me. This isn't what I want to do. You want to be able to have the capacity of not being so rigid that you're stuck in something and trying to force something that isn't aligned with who you are. But you also have to pay attention that you're not just making a cop-out because of fear or because you don't feel like following it through. There's so many, everything is connected to everything, and there's so many little aspects of it. You really have to pay attention and be attentive and know yourself well. And that's part of this process of the spiritual awakening. We're learning how to know ourselves better and better. And so not the first time it becomes, if you still want that ultimately, but you come into a little hurdle, you jump over the hurdle, or you find a way to solve it and you go through it. You don't just forfeit the dream for something small. It's kind of like you don't forfeit the meal for a candy, or, it's kind of like along the same energetic line. And so when you come to a point like this and you make this decision, put your full self in, face forward. without looking back, well, maybe I made the wrong decision. Because if you are going forward in this route and you're looking backwards, you do not, this path does not stand a chance, because you are not giving it your full attention. You're always in the back of your mind looking back at this other route. It's like if you get into a relationship with somebody and you're always thinking of your ex, and oh, it would have been better with them. This relationship does not have a chance. Whereas if you are fully dedicated in that relationship, you can see what it entails and you can give it a right chance to work. So if you make a decision, that means that at this point, you are deciding that this falls away. Say, okay, I know that this has good attributes to it. Otherwise, there would be no decision to be made. It would be obvious, right? So if you're at that pivot point and you're sitting there and you're saying, which option, when you take one option, you have to be willing to forfeit whatever this is. And the limitless other amounts, the infinite other amounts of decisions that could have been made at that same point. And deciding not to choose sometimes is also a decision. If there are two options in front of you and at the end you say, well, I don't like this option, I don't like this option. I choose right now not to choose and just to leave space in my life for something different to come in. And that is also a decision. And so all options are open. But we're talking about when you do make a decision, stand behind your decision, give it your full attention. Only then can you write it out to its full potential. And if you're at that point and you don't know what to choose, what makes you feel better? Which one are you more passionate about? Which one, even if it's just like a hair more, which one do you feel, meditate on it. Which one do you feel is more aligned with who you are? Not the aspects of, oh, this one I'll make more money at, because if it's not aligned with you, you won't. It's the wrong choice. If it's not aligned with you, there's only so long you'll be able to hold it together. And unless you're just used to holding your breath and you hold it together for the suffering for the rest of your life, which a lot of people do choose to do. So make the decision about what you are more passionate about and trust that when you are in the right place, providence will come. So no matter what you are going, and if you're enjoying your life, when we're looking for money, we're looking for enjoyment. So if we're looking like, okay, well, this job I less like, but I'll make more money at. And this job I like way more, but I'll make a little bit less money at it. First of all, it's not always that obvious. You could go down this route thinking you're going to make a lot of money, but if it's not aligned with you and you don't enjoy it, many times you won't be as good at it as you would here. So if you're excelling here, you could far bypass what you could have ever achieved down this route, even though this route seems like it would have given you more. And if we're looking for, let's say, a job and we want to make more menial means, right? Things in the substance means, right? There is a falsity in that in any case, because there's only so long that satisfies you, speaking from experience. And when what you're actually looking for is the emotion of it, you're actually looking for that freedom, for the fun in it, for if I have the means, I will be able to enjoy my life. But if you're doing something you less enjoy already, it's like putting your own goal in. It's like you're working against yourself for 2 weeks vacation a year. Whereas if you do this route, you will already inherently be getting the enjoyment of it. So when you make a decision, when you're at that pivot point, dedicate yourself and don't keep looking backwards, because this option really wasn't an option if you chose this route. And this option will never be the same. So you're not missing out on anything. So when you can fully understand that, give this option a full chance, you have to be faced forward. That means at the pivot point, you make the decision, this falls away, and this is the only option at hand. And you go full force down that, work it out until there's nothing left to work out, and then you can come back and reassess, okay, where am I? I'm at this new level, and now what are the decisions that I have? What are the options? What do I feel most passionate about? Whatever I feel most passionate about is going to lead me to where I need to be, what is most aligned with who I am and what I am. So I'm going to go over these notes really quick and see. Okay, so you really just have to trust yourself that you are making the right decision. Just trust that whatever you decide, there's a reason why you chose it, and you have to come to a place where you can truly trust yourself to make decisions. Because a lot of times when we have those cop outs and we're throwing the decision making off to someone else, like our spouse, or it's really also I'm giving up on me. I'm saying, well, I don't deserve to make a decision, or I'm not strong enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not worthy enough to make a decision that is aligned with me, or I don't want to argue about it. It's not, I'm not important enough. And you need to really learn how to trust yourself to make decisions for yourself. And you can do this by starting to make decisions on the smaller things, like what are things that are easy to make decisions about, like where are we going this evening? What should I make for supper? What should I wear? But you do it with intent because you make those decisions anyway, but sit down and say, okay, really do the process in your mind because you're teaching yourself the process of making decisions. And then as you do, you can expand your capability into bigger and bigger and bigger decisions. So when you purposefully say, okay, we're having dinner tonight, I am choosing, you're giving yourself the power. I am choosing what we are having for dinner. We have this option and we have this option. I am choosing this option because of, continue the thought process, because it is easier to make, it's going to taste better, because of whoever's over, because of whatever the reasoning is. These are the reasons why I'm choosing this. And then you're not only making a decision, you're also teaching yourself to back up your decision. And you're teaching yourself how to have a full thought process through the decision making. And so really, it's just like building a muscle. You can teach yourself how to make better decisions, and if you have children, young children, you can help them learn how to make decisions for themselves by even taking them to the supermarket and having them pick out the best tomatoes, showing them what good tomatoes look like, and say, okay, here's a bag. Go get tomatoes, and then trusting them in that decision, not second guessing them, not saying, oh, that tomato's bad and this. I mean, if it really is, show them so that they understand and allow them to pick a new one so that they will learn how to make good decisions and stand up behind their decisions and make, and be strong in their decisions and worthy and know that they're worthy. But to really reinforce the decision making. So allowing them to make the decision and then trusting their decision making, even if you wouldn't have chosen that particular tomato, allowing them to be responsible for it. And then they see the tomato on the table in the evening that they chose, and they can feel really proud of that. And that will give them a sense of pride and a sense of self-achievement, and that they can, and that they're worthy, and that other people see their value. So in decision making is such a important aspect of life, being able to make decisions. So we can teach our children to make decisions in little things. We can allow them to choose what they're having for dinner. We can allow them to choose where to place something in the living room. We can give over little things that aren't like chores, right? Because chores aren't that fun. To make decisions over things that can make them feel proud of themselves afterwards. I know in chores you can too, but it's not the point. Let me see what else we have here. The decision not to make a decision is a decision. You can practice making decisions. Every single decision that you make means that you are letting go of other things. That means that every time you make a decision in one direction, you're letting go of a whole bunch of other directions. So you have to learn how to not grieve over the lost potential, because in every single moment we have lost potential. Right now I am making this video, I'm not baking a cake. There's lost potential there. I don't have a cake, and I'm making this video over going through that box that's sitting there right now. You see that box of papers right there? So I have made a decision to make this a video rather than sit there and go through that box. So I am going to have that much less accomplished, but I have this video accomplished. So in every single moment, there is limitless, there is a world of potential. You can decide you get to decide where you put your power, where you put your time and effort and energy, right? Every day is a brand new opening. Every moment is a brand new opening. And you have a certain amount of time and a certain amount of energy to put forward in a day. What are you going to do with that time to get the maximum buck for I want to say buck for your dollar, but that doesn't even make sense. The maximum for your buck, right? And in life, you have to know what is most important for you. What is most important, um, and and then work slowly towards that. It's like if you have to break down a mountain and you have a pick, then every day pick away at that mountain. You're going to have a ton of work that you're sitting on. So, what is important to you? What is most important to you? And dedicate some of your decision making and some of your time to that and your energy to that. So, in every moment, you have limitless possibilities. You can sit down and watch an hour of TV or sit down and write for an hour on some project that you want to complete or sculpt, or you get to decide where you put your life light in every day and every moment. So there's no looking backwards. If yesterday you burnt your entire day watching TV and you feel at the end of the day like I'm so worthless, and then the next day you wake up beating yourself up over it, that is useless. That is just taking away your power from this day as well. In every moment, you have the power. And every time you make a decision to do something, there are infinite other things falling off the plate. You have to learn how to not mourn over it, how to realize that that was part of the process. And part of the process is that you choose one thing and hundreds of thousands of millions of infinite other things aren't coming to be in that moment. So just use your time wisely and make the best decisions that you can, and move on on passion, and write it out as long as it'll go, right? You make a decision, this falls away, you go straight forward as far as you can, as far as you know how to do, and then reassess, right? And always move on your passion, move on what is most aligned with you, what you feel best in, because whatever you have most passion about, you are going to be able to get more energy to do. If you choose something that you don't have passion about, you're not going to have a lot of wind in your wings. It's like trying to sail in a direction with a sailboat where there's no wind. So if you don't have passion about it, you're not excited about it, it's going to be like pushing something uphill, trying to force yourself uphill. Okay, I'm going to try to get through this. I see it's already getting pretty long. I'm going to try to get through this. Okay. How parents can help their children learn how to make new decisions, how to make decisions. We make hundreds of decisions a day. I already touched on that. Decisions are, what is that? Decisions are our freedom. When we are able to make our own decisions, we are free, and it also is what gives us the taste of life, because not only do we have to take responsibility for our decisions, we get to take responsibility for our decisions. How fun is that? When you make a decision, whether it's a success or a loss, you get to reap the benefits. If it's a success, then you get to take responsibility and credit for that. And if it's a loss, you are the only one that gets to take responsibility for it. So it's like a win-win situation, because even if it's a loss, you are the one that is getting that life experience. You are the one that is taking responsibility for it, other than putting the decision making on to somebody else and then putting the blame on them when it doesn't succeed, right? That's kind of a cop out. It's kind of like you're not knowing your own power. And when you take responsibility, even in something that, let's say you went out on a limb and you went and did something and it didn't in your eyes succeed, because everything is a success. Even if it's not a success, didn't go the way that you wanted, you get that experience and you get the I did it. I got to write it through, and I saw that, okay, so that's not it, but I did it. So you get that. You get to take that responsibility and the power in your life and freedom. When you are willing to take responsibility for also the things that don't go well in life, then you have the freedom to make any decision that you want, because it's not on someone else, it's on you. So you get to choose, even if everybody else says that's not going to work, and you decide that you're going to go down that path and it doesn't work, or it does work, or whatever happens. It's still, you are the only one paying the price, so you get to make that choice if you want to, if you're willing to stand up behind it and to take responsibility for it. Trust oneself comes from one's self-assurance that he made a good decision and trusting in his ability to follow through. Okay, so from making your own decisions and then you accomplish something is when you learn self-trust and self-worthiness and self-capability. So you understand what you're made of by making decisions. Whereas if you never make decisions, you never feel accomplished. You always feel like you're living next to life. If you're letting your spouse make all the decisions and you're just over here like, what micromanaging, a lot of times that's what we'll do. We'll sit on the side micromanaging the other. And not only micromanaging, but also, what's the word when you judge. So surrender into the decision. Don't look back, and let other options fall out. So when you make a decision, all the other options from this point, just let them fall away. They cannot be as they would be from this point again anyway. So they're not options anymore. Every moment holds new options. So even if 10 years down the line, you decide to go down that same path that you let fall away here, you're still starting it from a different starting point. It's still not the same option. You can teach yourself how to make decisions by starting with the small things. So I think I pretty much closed it all off. Decision making is the power in your life. It is what leads your life. Every day we choose this over this, this over this, this over this, and that is how we go through life. And that the quality and of your decisions and the quality and the strength and the there's a word here, courage of your decisions is what is going to determine the quality of your life. And that is your life power. Decisions are like, let's say you have this energy flowing through you and you're flowing through life. Decisions are the platform in which the energy flows, right? So you make a decision. They're like keyframes in an animation, right? You have one keyframe where the arm is like this. The next keyframe, the arm is like this. There is the motion that is in between. It is the channeling your life in the direction that you want. That is what decisions are. It's like creating a hose from which to point through it your energy. If you have a hose going in that direction and your energy is facing backwards, then you have conflict in your decision, right? So when you make that decision, flow all of your energy through that canal. And so I am sending you guys so much love. Thank you so much for watching. And if you would like help with the subject or any other subject, understanding what you're going through emotionally, reach out and we can schedule a one-on-one. My contact information is in my site below. Thank you so much.